Switch it up!
Welcome to the review of Mighty Switch Force. The type of game that tries to tell me that it's raining when my face is actually covered in piss. While the game looks great, it personally leaves much to be desired for me. Now let me first be clear on why I'm being so harsh on the game. It utilizes 3D great, but the gameplay seems to be stuck in two different genres. As you see here how I'm shooting around, which makes it a shooter, but then as I activate a mystical object on my head, I also am able to make these blocks reappear and disappear. So that's mostly where the puzzler part comes in. And as you can see, if you activate it and then activate that button again when you're behind a block, you're going to kill yourself really easily. But let's talk about the game setup. You play through levels also called incidents, trying to free prisoners. There are only 6 levels, but you end up going back to them multiple times. So it does seem longer than you think. And they are set up differently on each multiple visit, so it isn't the same redundant task. But in the puzzler aspect, the majority of the game, only focusing on activating something on the top of your head to make blocks and other assortments disappear and reappear, this quickly became monotonous, and I started thinking about how much better WayForward's next game is going to be. Another annoyance in Switch Force was the timer placed at the bottom of the 3DS. They place an emphasis on beating each level under a certain time, putting a rush on how I solved each puzzle. A timer such as this would have better worked in a separate game altogether, since I was in such a hurry in certain parts to attempt to beat their impossible time standard. I couldn't stop to enjoy what the game offered. These guys have made great titles in the past, so I'm sure that they'll be able to do the same again. However, that is probably why I'm being so harsh on them. I'm simply expecting greater things from these guys, and I know that they can pull through. All complaining aside though, the game isn't great, but it isn't bad either. The 3D here impressed me beyond belief. I personally think this is the best 3D on the system thus far, with another competitor obviously being Mario for the 3DS, which also had great 3D visuals. And you can't deny how hot these video game chicks look with large bags of cash in their hands. You'll see that every time you beat the end mission. Other than the gameplay itself, the music isn't bad either, though I did find some sound effects annoying and a little monotonous. Overall, the score was decent, and while the sound is great, the presentation left me with much to be desired, especially in the beginning when you start off. They don't show you how to use any buttons or how to activate that puzzler command, which is the main part in the game. The game doesn't give you any tutorial on how to use those puzzle actions, like stated previously, so it gets really frustrating. So if you're looking for a puzzler shooter game, I would say buy it if you're in dire straits of getting a new eShop game. It's not the worst game in the world, you're not going to be disappointed. If you're like me, you're probably not going to beat the entire thing. You'll get about 75% through and get kind of tired of doing the same Y button to activate that puzzle and reactivate. So I would say buy it if you are done with Pushmo.